I'd like to talk to the community today about the process of renovating versus building brand new. The process of renovating in almost any experience, it can be very daunting on everybody that's there, and it has to be done in a safe and clean way. And in that environment, we have to, in many cases, go in and do things surgically. So for what it would take to normally build a building with equipment, you have to go in and do it by hand. That takes time. The time that we have in order to do that is when kids are not in session, which means we're going to have to do everything in a piecemeal format, which would ultimately add additional costs for setup and teardown fees that are involved. Our schools can be band-aided only to a certain point. We can put a new roof on, but that's only a repair. If we want to strip it down to the bones, we're going to probably find something else that we probably didn't know about previously that's going to drive additional costs. Our schools they're lacking insulation. The new buildings will. If anybody lives in an old drafty farmhouse, you'd probably understand that component versus having a new home. So being good custodians to our schools, it'd be better to have a building that has proper insulation in it so we're not heating the outside world, and we can keep that cooling and heating within the building. That also affects the moisture. One of our schools actually does not have a proper moisture management plan, and it's actually, for the youth of the building, is actually in worse shape, in my opinion, versus the other schools that are much older than that. With the new school, we can have roofs that actually have pitched water on it. They might appear to be flat from a distance, but the water will be designed in a way to get diverted properly away and to go down to an area. Who knows, it might go to a rain garden or some other better use for the water. But right now in our schools, we actually have water that's actually going from the outside of the building to the inside, down into a sewer drain. That doesn't make sense. In addition to that, that's where our air handlers are at. So we have outside water coming into an area where we're trying to provide heat and conditioned air for our children. That's bringing outside water that could have any known pollutant in it. New technology does add humidity to the furnace, but the water's been gone through a water purification system before it gets dispersed into the air. So you got to take a step back and think. Look at the house that you live in. Look at the place that you work. Do you have air conditioning? Do you have the proper technology support? If the answer is yes, then a new building would probably be something to consider. If you're completely comfortable living in an era where you don't have those amenities for day-to-day use, we're not preparing our kids for the future. We're preparing them for the past. And I think a new school will definitely help support all that going forward.